everyone, and welcome to Nicole Reacts Up. I'm Nicole, and I react up to LGBTQ movies and TV shows. Today, we're going to be reacting to something we've been waiting for a long time, over a year. Finally, we're here, guys. It's been a long time. L Word Gen Q Season 3, Episode 1. At the end of Season 2, we were left with a lot of cliffhangers. Were those questions answered? Not really, but let's see what happened. We start off this episode with what most of us have been waiting for all summer long. Bet and Tina answering the very most important question of 2022. Bet, are you still in love with Tina? I'm sure we didn't need confirmation. It was quite obvious that the answer was yes, and she says yes. Feeling slightly bad for possibly ending the marriage before it even began of Carrie and Tina, Bet says, don't worry, I'm going to talk to Carrie and make it all right with the world. And Tina was like, no need, girl, I'm in love with you. They have this very sweet moment where Tina's like, I've loved you my whole life, and Bet's like, I loved you my whole life. And it was very sweet, and we thought, okay, maybe this is where they kiss. Maybe this is where they have a gentle moment together. But no, you can always count on Tina to ruin a good moment. Bet's like, I've loved you all my life. And Tina was like, I just wish you were better at it. Storms out of the house. And then Bet does what Bet does. The only way she knows how to deal with her inner demons is screaming like a banshee. In the next scene, we are visually assaulted at the very graphic image of a heterosexual couple going to Pound Town, literally. It's Alice. She is having relations with a young Gen Z man. He's hip, he's cool. He's got a cute little mullet and blue hair. And in the middle of their relations, he continues to say things like, I want to live stream this. I want to have relations with someone else while you watch. I want to watch you have relations with your clone. Things like that. And then we find out he is a semi-influencer, whatever that means. So do we get an explanation of what happened to her and Tom? No. Is Alice back to dating women? Also no. But she's in her cougar era, and I love this for her. Moving on, we are at Shane's house where Shane and Tess are playing house. I guess we're supposed to believe that Shane is a housewife now, that she's settled down to one woman and one woman only. And not only that, but is taking care of Tess's mother, who has dementia and MS. Shane seems very involved in the caretaking of Tess's mother, which is very sweet, but she also doesn't look very happy. It seems very stressful. They have to keep up with her medication. They have to keep up with what they're telling her due to her dementia. She has a nurse that comes in, and they gotta make sure that she doesn't give her pills to the dog, Max, whom I was asking last season where the hell that dog was. Thank you for bringing the doggy back. And I really got played because I honestly did not think that Tess's mom existed. I thought she was just a figment of her imagination, a lie that she would tell so that she can go to Vegas and gamble. But I was wrong. She does have a mom, and she does have MS and dementia. And a soft-core make-out session between Tess and Shane turns into a scene of the same with Gigi and Danny. So interesting how the hardcore sex scene we get is the straight one. Thanks, guys. But again, the moment that most of us have been waiting for as well is Jeannie, Gigi, and Danny. We left off where Danny got arrested at the end of Season 2. Do they address that in this episode? No. Do we have any idea where Danny's dad is? Also no. But we do know that even a year later, Danny and Gigi do not live together. Danny finds this romantic moment in bed to suggest that they move in together. And Gigi says, let me talk to Nat. An answer that Danny did not want to hear. I don't think anybody wants to ask their partner a question and then the answer be, let me talk to my ex. But I understand. They have children. She wants to make sure that Nat is okay with it, but she should be at this point. They've been together a year. Nevertheless, Danny is pissed, and I would be too. I don't blame her. But might I say, Gigi is looking fine as hell in this little nightie. Meanwhile, Danny is wearing some teenager pajamas that I don't understand. Meanwhile, it's moving day for Angie at California University. Go Condors! I must say, I am obsessed with the fact that Shane and Alice both came to moving day. I think that's amazingly supportive, and I'm glad that she has this extended family beyond her parents. Alice notes that Angie seems a little bit nervous about having both of her parents in the room at the same time. It seems that they hadn't gotten along in the last few times they've talked to each other. So she's stressed that Tina will be coming and Bet will be coming. Shane tells Alice, in preparation for Tina's arrival, don't be weird. Alice says, I won't. Tina comes, says, are you being weird? And Alice says, yeah, my bad. For reasons unbeknownst to me, everybody is dressed like Mod Squad, 1970s. I like it, but I don't understand why. Both Alice and Tina both have these like Farrah Fawcett hairdos, and I think it was almost like, let's make them look older so that the Gen Z kids look even younger, I guess. Tina continues to be a crappy friend and cannot make the MS fundraiser that Shane and Tess are hosting. But She promises to write a big check, and that makes it all better. So those three are talking, and all of a sudden, Bet pulls up, of course, in a Model X Tesla, because of course, only the most expensive, only the most amenities, and the best for Bet. She's looking like a boss. She's looking like a baddie. I'm not fond of the sunglasses, but we can look past that. Tina is caught off guard. She was not expecting to feel the feels she was feeling when she saw Bet come through. She was bewildered. She was perplexed, bemused, mystified, befuddled, all those things. A student rear ends her in her 100K plus Tesla. And as we all assume, Bet's gonna go crazy on this girl. Absolutely. I mean, we've seen her get into a car accident before, and this was the result. But she gets out, she's calm, cool, and collected. She opens her arms and gives the girl a hug and comforts her. I would have been like, okay, cool. You're gonna write the check. I'm gonna need your insurance information and we're gonna get this sorted out. But no, Bet was like, it happens. Peace and love. What? Even Tina was like, why didn't you bite her head off? That's what you normally do. And Bet's like, peace and love, man. Peace and love. We're all gonna die one day, man. Just like, let it go. These are my L-word Gen Q sunglasses, by the way. Got them at Henrietta's this weekend. Thank you, Showtime. Well, even though Tina does not understand this new Bet, she likes this new Bet. He's like, ooh, you're not hot-headed anymore. You're just hot, calm, cool, and collected. I could get back with this. Okay. We are back at Sophie and Finley's house, or whoever the hell lives there. I feel like 1,000 people live there. Sophie's freaking out because Finley's coming back from sober living, which I assume is like a halfway house after you leave rehab. And she's freaking out because she is not sure where they stand romantically since they apparently were on a break. Micah's telling her to chill out. You don't need to clean everything. Like, it's gonna be fine. And Sophie finds a ring. What kind of ring? An engagement ring. Sophie is excited and she gives her blessing. Meanwhile, Finley finally arrives home with a small duffel bag and a garbage bag, which is exactly what I expect her to come home with. Finley finds out that Micah is going to propose and she also gives her blessing and says she's definitely going to say yes, which we know is a jinx, and she's definitely going to say no now. Thanks a lot, Finley. On a cute little picnic at the park, Finley reads her apology letter to Sophie, apologizing for all the things that she did when she was an alcoholic, which I believe she was an alcoholic for like 3 episodes, but nonetheless. At this point, they've been apart from each other physically more than they've been together in their relationship. She thanks Sophie for saving her life, and Sophie thanks her for the apology. And then Finley declares to Sophie that she's gonna get a good job with benefits. With your lack of experience and education in this economy? Okay, girl, good for you. Nice to have goals. We then go back to California University, where Bet, Tina, Shane, and Alice see Angie off in her dorm for her first year at college. They all want to be cute, take a picture with her, and she's like, no, get out, shoo. She's just really antsy to get them out because Jordy was coming over and wanted them to be gone before she came. She's a little bit rude to them, and then she kicks them out. Tina gives her $20 to try to make up for her lack of parenting in the last few years, but Angie ends up chasing them down the hall to give them a group hug, and it's so beautiful because they all 3 of them have a hug, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like this is 2005 all over again. Like, oh, the family's back together. I love it. Beautiful. And as Bet and Tina walk down the hall, Bet's like, oh, are you going to that fundraiser? And Tina's like, oh yeah, totally. I was always planning on doing that. Like, yeah, that was like my total plan. Even though she specifically told Shane, I won't be attending, but I will write a big fat check because I can apologize about anything with money. So she wasn't planning on going to the fundraiser, but as soon as she saw that Bet was looking fine in her nice Tesla and was calm, cool, and collected, she was like, oh, I could be with this new Bet. Yeah. I will be at the fundraiser. You save me a seat next to you, please. Thank you. Then while they're together walking down the hall, Bet answers the phone, and who's on the other end? Pippa! Ah! Tina's pissed. We are now at Dana's for the fundraiser for MS, thrown by Tess, Shane, and Danny is like the party planner. Unfortunately, Tess has been given this horrendous dress that is not flattering for her figure whatsoever, and the design is also not so great. And if you look here, Alice is wearing an almost inverted version of the suit she wore at the poker night at Dana's last season. She had this Dumb and Dumber suit then, and now it's like inverted colors, same idea, but now with like a big like flower on her chest. I don't know. It reminds me of Phoebe from Friends when she had this big Christmas bow on her. And because, of course, everything needs to be explained in 2 sentences, what happened to Pippa? She went to South Africa. Her and Bet are just friends now, but good friends nonetheless. Carrie won't even talk to Tina, so they are definitely not friends. So Bet finally shows up looking stunning, and Tina is very hot and bothered by it. And you know what? So am I. I mean, she looks gorgeous, darling. They start to exchange words at the bar, and Alice is like, I see you. Flirting. Micah arrives to the event and decides to show his best friend, I guess they made up, Danny, the ring that he bought Maribel. She's like, oh, it's gorgeous, it's great. And he was like, everybody already knows. Should I do it tonight? I wasn't gonna do it tonight, but now I feel like she's gonna find out. So should I do it tonight? What do you think? And Danny's response is, I don't know. Let me ask Nat and I'll get back to you. Yo, that got me. That really killed me. Referencing back to where Gigi was like, I don't know if we should move in together. Let me speak to Nat. Let me talk to Nat. She's pissed, and you know what? I would be too, so I don't blame you, Danny. Maribel doesn't annoy me, but I will tell you that she's real. She's real. And so I appreciate her candor at any point. She was like, no, Sophie, I don't like Finley. She's like, girl, she ruined your wedding. She pissed in a hallway. And just like a good sister, she's looking out for hers. She says, you're toxic for each other. You lose yourself in her. And I'm just looking out for you. Fair enough. I'd be pissed if my sister was with Finley. Finley takes Shane and Tess in the back at Dana's so that she could read her apology letter. She apologizes and they're both like, we don't even really need to hear it. We're good. Like, we're fine. It's all forgotten. It's all love. Or what do the Gen Zers do? I don't know. I really don't. Oh. I can't do it. I have arthritis. Anyway, Shane and Tess give her a job, which I think is a really stupid idea for a recovering alcoholic to work at a bar again, but okay. And then Finley's like, oh wait, does this job have benefits? And Shane's like, ask Tess. And Tess was like, definitely not. Hey, but at least she got a job. Meanwhile, Shane is just curious as to what's going on in the back room of her own bar. She peeks her head into the door and she sees the beautiful, the illustrious, the sexy Kaylani, who is giving very much Carmen vibes. So even though we will probably never get a Carmen and Shane reunion, I think this is as close as we're gonna get and I appreciate it. And I know you do too. Anyway, it's clear that Kaylani's character, Ivy, has no idea who Shane is and is like, you can't be back here, get out. Shoo, shoo, shoo. And Shane was like, okay, bye. We go back to Bet and Tina, who are in a booth alone, talking, catching up. We come to find out that Tina is probably a producer on a TV show who just got picked up for season 9. Now, this did not resonate with me, did not seem significant to me, but I made a friend this weekend at Henrietta's, shout out Kate, who pointed out to me that this current season of Gen Q would technically be season 9 if you count the original 6 and then plus 3. So she made me aware that that was probably on purpose. And it was cute. I like it. I like what you did there, writers. And just now rewatching it for this recap, I just realized something that Tina said that I did not realize. She says, a whole new team of executives came on and they have a completely different agenda. So now the showrunner is pissed. No comment. And the absolute juxtaposition of a long-term committed relationship possibly coming back together. We jump to Alice with her Gen Z man that she's hooking up with, and he's like telling her all about his astrological signs or whatever the hell. And Alice is like, yeah, that's really good. I just like, whew. So tired. Ooh, look at that. It's 7:45 p.m. She just cannot keep up with this young guy, and I don't blame her. I could barely keep up with young people anymore these days. But I find it hilarious that he's explaining to Alice how the TikTok algorithm works. They don't say that it's TikTok, but they're talking about TikTok. I love Shane and Alice peeking from the grassy knoll, spying on Bet and Tina. Like, I literally feel like all the Tibeters, anybody who is a Tibet endgamer, such as myself, we are literally Shane and Alice right here just being like, you see them? They look like they're getting along. How beautiful. I actually find it funny because this Gen Z character, as annoying as he is with these like weird quirky isms that he's saying that Alice doesn't really understand, it actually gives me season 1 original series Alice vibes, where she was always talking about LA's best this and LA's best this list and all that stuff that nobody really cared about or understood. And I feel like she's just looking at her past self. What do you think? And here, when Finley and Alice embrace for the first time since she's back from the sober living, we find out that Alice paid for her rehab and she is paying it back little by little until it's all paid off. And in what I found to be the funniest scene of this episode was Finley attempting to apologize to Danny. Now, do I think that Finley chose the right time to do this at a fundraiser for MS where Danny was in charge and clearly very stressed and very busy, to pull her aside to talk about some BS that she's really not interested in hearing anyway? No, this was a terrible time. But let's remember what Finley did last season, ruined Danny's wedding, walking in during the vows to break up the whole thing. So Finley's not one for tact. So basically Finley's like, can I talk to you? And Danny's like, it's not a good time. And then Finley's like, when's a good time? And Danny was like, let me think. Never, bye. Finley keeps pushing despite the fact that Danny says no. And I don't blame her. She's like, yo, get out of my face. I have nothing to say to you and I don't want to hear anything you have to say to me. And I'm Team Danny on this one. And I'm just Team Danny in general. And it's freaking hilarious because I feel like Danny was all of us when she said, I don't think you're cute. I don't think you're charming. I think you're annoying. And I was like, yes, girl. Yes, girl. Yes. Speak for us. You are the voice for the voiceless. Finley takes it to the street, starts puffing on her vape because of course she vapes, and acts like the victim because Danny didn't want to talk to her. And Sophie was like, it's not your fault. Danny's such a bitch and she hurt your feelings. I'm so sorry. Oh, shut up. I'm tired of you two. Literally, bye. Meanwhile, we go back into the bar and Ivy was like, hey, Shane, sorry about yelling at you before. I did not know that you were the owner of this bar, so how can I make it up to you? And Shane's like, oh, I have an idea. But Ivy was like, oh no, follow me. I have something to show you. She takes Shane to the back where she was doing hair and shows her some kind of product like this, like hair balm or something that Shane must have created a long time ago. And it's an ancient relic. But don't worry, this is just a squeezable soup dumpling that I like to play with, so. Dumpling by Shane. Oh, who remembers? You're looking very Shane today. So Ivy was like, can you style me? And Shane was like, I really shouldn't because I have a woman and I know what this is gonna lead to, but F it, I'm Shane, let's do it. So I don't know what the hell this scene was, but she was styling Ivy's hair, but it was more like close-ups of this and close-ups of this and some of this. Okay, I don't know. You tell me what you thought that was. I mean, I just gave myself goosebumps by touching my scalp, and that's really like the best part about somebody playing with your hair, but I don't think Shane was doing anything. She was not styling her hair. She was just like running her fingers through it. Okay, some may call it foreplay. So now it's time back at the fundraiser where Bet is auctioning something off, looking beautiful, stunning, gorgeous in her cute little outfit. I love the neck thing. Bet announces that she is auctioning off the very first piece of art she bought, or at least the first artist she started collecting, Kiki Smith. Now, if you watch the original series, this painting did make a few appearances as her favorite piece of art. It was a big cornerstone in their relationship. It was always hung in Bet and Tina's house in West Hollywood. Bet almost had to sell it back then when she was having financial hardships, but luckily she didn't have to. And the fact that she's auctioning it off has Tina in a tizzy, okay? She's like, oh my God, that was in our home in West Hollywood. She's gonna sell that? No. Oh my God, people are bidding. 500, no, 1,000. Oh my God, it's worth much more than that. Oh my God. And as the bidding continues, Tina really panics and she pulls out, she reaches deep into her pocket. I mean, deep into her pocket and pulls out some coins. She bids $10,000 and wins the painting. And that's what I call BDE. She was not letting anybody else have that painting. And I think she was, putting on a nice little show for Bet. She's like, you ain't the only one with money in this house now, girl. So Bet arrives at the table extremely impressed by Tina's actions. And she's like, you didn't have to do that. And Tina's like, you would never part with your Kiki Smith. Shane and Alice are like, we need to go. We're not gonna continue to third and fourth wheel at this little party. So they bounce. And Tina's like, do you wanna get out of here? And Bet's like, doesn't even let her finish her sentence. She's like, yes, let's go. Alice goes over to her Gen Z boyfriend and is like, listen, this has been really fun. Thank you for teaching me a lot, but I am an old lady and I like to go to bed at 8 o'clock and there's no way I'm going to any more of these after parties with you in the middle of the night. Like, thank you so much and I have so much hope for your generation. And he was like, don't, I just did K in the bathroom. And she's like, well, later. Now, after giving Ivy a scalp massage, Tess pulls Shane out and says, I have something to show you. Pulls her out, shows her a vacant storefront that she wants to lease out with Shane, and I assume that this is a salon. The second time a woman wants to open up a salon for Shane. What does Shane have that makes all these women just want to spend all their money on her? Shane's like, girl, I already have to work at this bar and take care of your mom, and like, you're just gonna give me another responsibility? Like, how about no? And Tessa's like, well, I know we're not gonna have a baby, so like, these are our babies, so we're basically like having another baby. It's a boy! And then she just started kissing Shane, which made Shane forget about everything, because that's how Shane operates. As we know, once again, the writers do us dirty. Some of the only nudity we get to see is now Finley's boobs. We are having a strip basketball match with her and Sophie. Sophie wants to make sweet love to her girlfriend whom she hasn't seen in a long time, and Finley's like, actually, I need to go to a meeting. You can tell that Sophie feels a little offended and a little upset about it, but is supportive of her sobriety journey. And we go back to the University of California. Go Condors! Was it Condors? I think so. Angie is super happy. She's showing Jordy her closets. She's showing Jordy her whole dorm, which is probably not much. And you can tell Jordy is just like walking on eggshells. She's really not into anything that Angie is saying. Turns out Angie was super excited that this would be their first night alone, if you know what I mean. And she wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. Well, Jordy wasn't having it. Jordy was like, well, listen, like, we're kind of going on our own paths now because we're in college. So like, I think it's best that we break up. Well, I hope you understand. You understand? And Angie was like, no, get out. I don't care. Like, wrap it up then. Like, what are you here for? Like, we ain't gonna be friends. I don't need no friends. Like, get out. Respectfully, I agree with her. Anytime I've ever been broken up with, they're like, but I still want to be your friend. And I'm like, no, you can have this part of me or you can have none of me. Goodbye. I got friends. I got plenty of friends. I'm with my niece on this one. And yes, she is still my niece, even though she is 10 feet taller than me. But to be fair, everybody in the world is 10 feet taller than me. Finley finds herself at a meeting and explains how the plan that she had when she got out of sober living didn't work out as she thought. She wasn't getting the responses from people that she wanted, which, I mean, what do you expect? Micah gets down on one knee, proposes to Mirabelle, and Mirabelle's like, I don't want to get married. I want to have some babies. Oh my God, girl, she is a mess. Micah, you need to run for the hills, okay? But see, I told you Finley jinxed it. Meanwhile, we get back to Danny. It was a nice, another 30 seconds of Gigi's face. Danny arrives home from the fundraiser and she's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. All these good things are happening. And she's like, did you talk to Nat? And Gigi closes her book and gives that look that says, we need to have a serious talk. Basically, you can tell in her eyes, it's over at that moment. We see that Sophie has been talking to somebody named Dre, who sent you up, Rainbow? AKA, are you up for some homosexual activity? And finally, we are at Bet's house. Bet and Tina are acting like a bunch of straight ladies having coffee while their kids are at school. That's really the vibe I get. It's not even like, doesn't even seem romantic. It just seems like friends catching up that haven't seen each other in years and they're drinking their tea or coffee or whatever it is. And they're just like, oh, how are things for you? Yeah, totally. Like, Ben never puts his dirty laundry in the basket. It's always on the bathroom floor. So apparently when Tina said, that's not how you love someone, or you don't know how to love properly, Bet searched in her inner soul to figure out why couldn't she, and that she realized she was always searching for that love from her mother that she never received, aka mommy issues. Now in the original series, she always told people her mom was dead, and a lot of people brought that up, but perhaps she was estranged from her mother and it was just easier to tell people that she was dead rather than explain the whole thing. So was she dead and then the writers just brought her back, or was it I don't know. But either way, she met up with her mom, they reconciled, and now Bet is all better. She also went to a silent retreat where she actually stayed the whole time and stayed silent, as to opposed to the original series where she went and she left after like 2 days because she could not. You imagine Bet trying to be quiet? Not in this lifetime, not in this economy. Meanwhile, the whole time Tina is listening intently, but like, oh yeah, wow, that must have been hard for you. Oh. And meanwhile, her whole thought process is like, when is she gonna kiss me? Like, oh God, stop talking about your life and just kiss me already. And then the both of them are like, today was the best day ever. Tear. Their hands start to touch on the couch. Then their fingers start to intertwine. Then they stand up and Tina's like, I should go. And Bet's like, oh, okay. And then again, Tina's like, I should go, right? Like, girl, just say you want to stay. Like, just grab her and kiss her. You don't have to make a whole show about it. This ain't the Ringling Brothers. This ain't no Barnum and Bailey. Just go. They have a very passionate hand-holding, hand-kissing, and then they start kissing each other and everything's going great. And it's like, oh my God, we waited 12 years for this. Like, this is amazing. Bet and Tina are back together-ish, or at least they're kissing for the first time. And it's like, my 14-year-old self is crying. And of course, they are interrupted by Angie, and she was like, you gotta be effing kidding me. And that's it. That's how the episode ends. So all in all, we don't get a lot of questions answered, but it was only the first episode. This episode gave me the vibes of like when you go to your first day of school or a certain class and they give the syllabus and they give the rubric, and it's just like you don't really learn much, you don't really do much, but you're gonna learn what's gonna happen that semester. That's what this episode was giving. Okay, that airplane was very low. So that's what this episode was giving. It was just like, here's what we have to look for this semester, where you're gonna get an F if there's no class participation, and whatever we learned last year, we're gonna skip a year of information and we're just gonna jump to this next level. We went from L word 201 and we're actually just gonna skip 301 because like a lot happened in this year, but we're not gonna tell you, and we're just gonna go to 401 basically. So there you have it. The long-awaited L word Gen Q season 3 is back. And I will be doing my recaps every week. I'll be here every Friday for a recap in real time as soon as the episode is released, basically at midnight on Fridays. If you haven't already, please follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and also subscribe to my YouTube here. I'll be giving a lot of L-word content. I speak my mind. I'm not gonna BS you, but I'd also love to see what you think. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you, and I'll see you next time on Nicole Reacts Up. Bye.